Good morning, scholars. Happy Monday. We are in our last phase. Wow. In less than maybe 29 days, you would have completed seventh grade. Unfortunately, it's not the way we may have wanted it. Of course, I wanted to take you guys on a field trip. I wanted to go to theme park and get on the drop zone with you guys and the roller coasters and give you guys certificates and celebrate you in a personable way where we could see one another. But unfortunately, that's not the cards we are dealt because we are trying to keep each other safe. We're trying to keep our families safe, so we're staying home. I know a lot of you, I was reading your journals yesterday, and I was seeing how a lot of you guys are missing your friends, you're missing your family, and you're concerned about us, your teachers. But one thing I want to let you know is the beauty about staying in is that we are keeping each other safe, that we're looking out for one of each other. We're not, you know, we're trying to lower the curve. And I heard that we're actually flattening the curve here in California, especially in Los Angeles. But what I want you to do is continue to stay inside, continue to take care of your family, continue to take care of yourself, exercise, move, um, read, play video games. But I know you guys like video games and I know you like Netflix and things like that, but try and get active, move a little bit, read, exercise your brain a little bit more just to kind of keep you active because if you're just in front of a game all day or just watching Netflix all day, you will eventually become bored and just be like, what am I going to do? All right, so please remember filling out the answers in the Google Classroom answer box, and I'm responding to each and every one of you. And you can even write me back. I've seen a few students write me back, even though I wrote to them. They was respond to some of the things I'm telling them. And I also, when I write to you guys, I give you guys some of the tips that I would do when I am, social distancing too. Some of the things that I find that are interesting for like at home workouts, things that I find cool for certain recipes that I find on Pinterest, um, things that I find that are good DIY projects like art projects or ways to organize your closet or ways to organize your binder or conversations and games to play with your friends. Trust me, there's a lot of things. And honestly, I think you guys, if you want me to come up with a fun Friday, because I know I have fun Fridays where I create TikToks, and this on Friday I'm gonna start playing Overwatch with some of you. If you guys have any ideas of like YouTube videos I should create for you guys for Fun Fridays, maybe some recipes, maybe some cooking videos, maybe some vlogs, some things that you think will be very fun and interactive for our classes, just to keep us from being bored. I got you. Just write them in the comments, and I will be able to give you those ideas. And maybe I'll do a poll and add the poll to Google Classroom. Okay. All right, let's get into it. All right. So this week is a little bit different because I'm getting you prepared for a performance task. Now, what is a performance task? It's an assessment to ask students to perform to demonstrate their knowledge, understanding, and proficiency. So I'm asking you to do a task to show me how well you've been learning, how well you have been taking in all the information from seventh grade all year long. We practice informational text, we practice um, comprehension, reading, social justice, narrative writing. And so I want to take all those little pieces that we've learned. And pretty much the breakdown is you will show me that you are able to write an essay about literature you have practiced for weeks now. And at the end of the school year, I'm just assessing you on how are you writing a 5 paragraph essay that specifically focuses on literature. Now, I know this sounds very confusing, and I know it sounds like a lot because honestly, it is. And how Mr. Millen is going to teach you writing through online, through YouTube, through Google Classroom, but we're going to make it happen. And that's why I need you guys. It's imperative that you guys come to every office hours. If I can get students to come to every office hour, I will do a raffle and send a pizza to your home. I told you guys this a few weeks ago that if students are showing up, I will guarantee you, I will get your address and I will send you a full size pizza with whatever topping you want. But you got to be consistent starting this week. Come in the office hours at 10 a.m. I put the link in Google Classroom and I also put the link in Remind. So show up. If I see those students that are showing up every week, that's this week, every office hours this week, that's this week alone. That's Monday at 10, Wednesday at 10. If you show up every Monday and Wednesday at 10, you stay, I'm going to put your name in a hat and I'm going to raffle and I will announce the winner on Fun Friday and I will send you a pizza on Friday. I promise you. Okay? So let's get into this assessment. So, when we're doing our performance task assessment, there are some things that I truly, truly want you guys to do. Okay? This performance task is going to cover a lot of steps. And so I chunked it up a little bit so you can be able to understand exactly what I'm asking you to do. Okay? So here are the steps to success. The first step, you're going to pick your versus story. All right? You're going to, when you're with your literary analysis essay, you're going to take two stories, look at them together, and analyze those two stories, okay? And find the similarities and the differences and the messages and the themes and the central ideas that both stories are teaching us. All right, so these are your options. You have 11 and Raymond's Run together. You can mix them up if you want to, but any two stories that go together. We have Freak the Geek in seventh grade by Gary Soto. Seventh grade by Gary Soto is a story we read in the beginning of the year. All these stories I will add again to this week's Google Classroom. Mother Daughter and Growing Up. Mother Daughter we read in the beginning of the year. Growing Up we read during social distancing. If you still have your Outsiders book, and if you bought your Dear Martin book, you can use the Outsiders and Dear Martin. That's gonna be a little bit difficult because it's a chapter book. But you can do the Outsiders and Dear Martin only if you have the book, so you can be able to use quotes and things to support your claims. Now, if you remember the quotes and you're able to find the quotes online by any way, you can still use the Outsiders and Dear Martin, being that those are the two novels we read this year. All right. Step 2, you are going to open a document on Google Docs and add your name to the top. So let me show you. Now, this is something that we got to make sure we do. Pastor, I'm watching the preacher online. So this is what you'll do. You'll add your name. I'm gonna change the font here just so you guys can see. So I'll add my first name and my last name. All right, and then I'll have my date. Today is 5/4/2020. Cohort. UC Irvine. Okay. So now I have my name, I have my date, I have my cohort, and this is the first thing I want you to do. You're gonna take this and you're gonna name it this. You're gonna write your first name, right? And you're gonna write performance task literary essay part 1, right? This is what you're gonna do first. Do not wait to the last minute. The moment you get in here, I'm not asking for this to be done yet. I just want to see that you have shown up and that you are ready for the lesson. You're gonna put your name, date, cohort, then come up here and put your name here so I can see that you're here and share it with me. M.McMillian at puckschools.org. You guys have done this before. Okay? And then you send it. Even though it's going to ring on my end because I'm sending it to myself. That's going to be the second step. All right? The next thing you're going to do, you're going to share with me, which we just did. Then the two stories that you've chosen, both stories that you've chosen, I want you to review both of them and annotate them, answering the questions, which I'll show you in a minute, right? Then after you answer those questions on that document, you are going to share it again with me, and you're going to write in that little space bar that I showed you, you're going to write done or done, mister. That way I see that you're done. That way I don't lose tracking of, your work. So let me go over these steps one more time. Now, this is the time for you to just sit and pay attention, okay? Step 1, you're going to pick your stories, the two stories. I call them the versus story because they're going to go against each other. Then 2, You're going to open your Google Docs document, and you are going to add your name, date, cohort, add your name at the top, and share with me. Step, which is step 3 and step 4. Step 4, you're going to read both stories and annotate them answering the questions. A lot of these stories you've read already, you might not need to read them all the way through. You might just need to go and annotate and find what the questions are asking you to do. Whenever when I'm prepping you guys for SBAC testing or when I'm prepping you for MAP testing, I'm always saying it is important to look at the question first and then go back in the text so you're able to understand what is it asking you to do, right? Then you're going to answer the question. Then you're going to share it with me. These are the questions. As you can see, I added a picture of myself here writing on the board to kind of give you the feel that I'm teaching you. So you can see me as I'm teaching you. All right. So the questions you must answer. In the first text, what can you conclude about the character's development? We've talked about character development before. We read The Outsiders, how the characters have changed over time. Cite 2 pieces of textual evidence that support your answer for the first question. So question number 1 is just talking about the character's development. All right. So for me, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do The Jacket by Gary Soto and Mother and Daughter. So I'm going to go by my first text. So just to review, remember The Jacket. The main character has an old coat. He was disappointed in his old coat, but was looking forward to getting this new jacket. His mother buys him this jacket. He doesn't like it. It's ugly green. It wasn't what he envisioned. He wanted this jacket to be this cool leather jacket that he walked around with his friends to be cool, but the jacket was too big. So what did he try to do? Ruin the jacket as much as he could, so that way people could so he can get rid of it and ask for a new jacket. He's doing all that. He thinks the teachers are talking about him. He feels like no girls like him because of this jacket. He feels all the worst of the worst of the worst that can happen. And before you know it, he done all this work to ruin the jacket. He begins to outgrow the jacket. And then he doesn't want to get rid of the jacket. So the process begins over again. Okay? So that's going to be my first story that I review because I hate to conclude how the character has developed over time. I am going to go here to my document and I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to go down one more. And they're asking me in the first text, what can you conclude about the character's development? Of my conclusions on character development is that Gary did not like the jacket first because he felt that it was too big and ugly. Eventually, the eventually he began to, excuse me for the typing, to outgrow his jacket, and then it became comfortable. Right. So now I have my. Now that I have my answer to the question, now I'm going to go in the text. I'm going to find 2 pieces of evidence that supports my claims. Okay. I'm going to go here. I'm going to say, what is a quote that shows in the beginning that he hated this jacket? So I'm looking here. I'm kind of reviewing. I remember this part where he said, I needed a new jacket and I asked what I wanted. I described something like a biker's wear. Obviously, he didn't get that. So, oh, here goes. From the kitchen, Mother yelled that my jacket was in the closet. I closed the door to her voice and pulled it out. No luck. I gave up for my bed. I stared at the jacket. I wanted to cry because it was so ugly and so big that I knew I had to wear it a long time. All right. So I would take this, and if I'm annotating it, I will take this and I'll probably put a quote on it or something. And what I did was I'm going to highlight. You saw how I highlighted that? So what I did was I clicked suggesting to help me annotate. And then when I find the quote I'm looking for, I just highlight it, right? And after I highlight it, I write something in the margin. I click highlight and I write something in the margin. And I will say, this shows that Gary did not like his jacket, right? Proves my point. I will take this quote and I will add it. Wrong one. Where am I? Yeah, I'm in the right one. I will add it here. Okay, let's go back. I don't like that. Let's paste. Okay. So that's one of my quotes, right? That's one of my quotes. Now I need to add a quote that shows his change over time. So I'm going to go back to this piece here. I'm actually going to get rid of these extra pieces because I feel like that was a waste. But you see how I annotated that. And Vanity she does a great job of doing this. Shout out to Vanity from UCLA. So if I go to the end of the passage, you see that things have changed. But whole pieces still casually flew off my jacket, and I played hard, read quietly, and took a vicious spelling test at school. When it came spotted, I was called. I was called to dinner. Later, however, I swiped the jacket off on the ground and went inside to drape it across my lap. I was called to dinner. Steam slivered to my mother's glasses. Blah blah blah. Finished. I went outside. My jacket's across my arm. It was a cold scar. My faces of piles were piled up, hurting. Climbed the fence, jumping in a grunt. I started up the alley and I slipped on my jacket. That the green ugly brother who breathed over my shoulder that day and ever since. So this shows that he still wears it and that he's not going to change this jacket. Right? I highlighted it, right? I go to the little highlighter, I add my highlight. Who wears this jacket? Although it is beat up and he is out. Right? The funny thing about the story that I thought was how he always found a way to um put it on and then take it off and put it on and then take it off. But it just shows that he just kind of has the system now that it doesn't bother him. His jacket doesn't bother him the way it used to. It is ugly, but he said it's like an old brother that keeps following me around. It's like a big brother that kind of gets a little brother. Oh, sorry, I didn't copy it. It's like a little brother that keeps following me around. Remember, I told you about the story about how my brother would follow me everywhere I would go when I was in preschool, and I hated it. Similar. He's like, it's like a little brother who keeps following me around and not giving me my space. Okay. Now here's my second quote. Now that's why I'm having you guys do this on Google Docs because you're going to need this when you start writing your essay. You're going to need your quotes. You're going to need your information. Number two, in the second text, what can you infer the character learned about life? Support the answer with two pieces of evidence from the text. Now I'm going to go to my second text, which is mother daughter. If I were to review mother daughter, remember it's about Yoli and her mother and how they love one another. And, obviously the mother's a single parent, as we talked about. And Yoli wants to go to this eighth grade dinner dance, and she has this crush on this new boy. But she does not have a new dress. And her friends are talking about how amazing this dinner dance is going to be. Yoli's mother doesn't have any money, but she decides to dye the dress black. Now, if you recall, the mother took the dress and she put it inside of the tub and she dyed it. When she goes to this dance, she's decided to see her friends. She decided to see this boy. She starts talking to him, and then it begins to rain. And what happens? The dye runs out of the dress, and her dress is ruined. She comes home. She's upset. She's yelling at her mom. She's frustrated with her mom, and her mother begins to cry because her mother begins to feel that she failed her daughter. Now, remember when I talked about how sometimes we say things that can hurt our parents' feelings, and that our parents have feelings just like we do. I will never forget the time that I told you guys about when my mother made breakfast one time for dinner, and I told her that it was nasty. I said, "Oh, these grits are gross," and I was sent to my room because it really hurt my mother's feelings. And I never realized that I can still have the ability to hurt my mother's feelings because we don't never think that our parents have feelings. Our comments, the things we say, our facial expressions, things like that, can possibly hurt their feelings. True. Now, her mother cries. Yoli then goes back and apologizes. And Mrs. Moreno actually finds out that Yoli's going on this date to the movies with this young man. And she goes out and takes some money from her savings and goes and buys her a dress. Now, I'm going to answer question number two. Sorry. Question number two. It says, in the second text, what can you infer the character learned about life? Support your answer with two pieces of evidence. So if I were to go back and I can make some inferences about what she learned about life, I can infer that she realizes her appreciation for her mother. She realizes that her mother is doing the best that she can, right? So the way I will start that sentence, how will I start it, you all? You all, how will I start the sentence? If we're making an inference, out to your screen, I'm sure I can feel your presence. What we say? I can infer, very good, that Yoli has a grown, or we say has grown, a deeper appreciation for her mother and her hard work. Or we could say for her mother and her mother's love. Now remember, in ELA, it doesn't have to be perfect answer. It could be whatever you think it is, but find the quotes to back it up. So if I'm going to say I can infer that Yoli has grown a deeper appreciation for her mother and her love for her, I'm going to go back to the story and I'm going to find quotes that shows Yoli love for her mother. So I'll go here. This part right here, I would say 38 and 39. It says the next morning, mother and daughter stayed away from each other. Yoli sat in the room, turning the pages of old 17, while her mother watered a Pepsi bottle. Drink, my children, she said loud enough for Yoli to hear. She let the water slurp into pots of coleus and cacti. Water is all you need. My daughter needs clothes, but I don't have no money. Yoli tossed the 17 on her bed. She was embarrassed at last night's tirade. It wasn't her mother's fault that they were poor. Boom. There we go. We can use that quote or we can add both of them. Maybe I'll add both just to give some context. So I'll take if I take all three quotes, all three pieces, let's say, and make it into one big quote, it will help my reader take my information into context. So this is my first quote. And as you know, see, I'm skipping steps. Forgive your teacher, all right? As you know, what do we do? If I'm taking this, I'm annotating this, right? I'm annotating this. So what should I do? I'm going to click the highlighter, right? Suggesting. So I'm clicking the highlighter, right? And so what do I do here? Click the highlighter. Boop. I'm going to add a note. Yoli finds a deeper appreciation for her mother, right? Now, the next step would be going back to my piece, adding the quote. I'll go back, post without edit, without formatting. I wanted it to be in, that's okay. You guys get the gist, right? I'm going to take away all the extra fluff in there so we can keep the quote together. Okay, I'm going to take away the numbers because the text actually automatically numbers pieces. All right, so now I have my huge dramatic quote, okay? Which I will, if I was writing my essay, I'll turn this into a block quote, but I'll show you guys how to do that next week. We won't jump the gun. All right. So now I need to find one more quote that shows that Yoli has a deeper appreciation for her mother. One more quote. When they sat down together for lunch, they felt awkward about the night before, but Mrs. Moreno had made a fresh stack of tortillas and cooked up a pan of chile verde. And then they broke the ice. She licked her thumb. You know, honey, we got to figure out a way to make money. Yoli's mother said, you and me, we got to find something. Yoli hated the idea. The phone rang. Here we go. Yoli lurched from her chair and answered the phone. Ernie was wondering. Yoli lurched from the chair. You know, the same thing. He asked, I'll take this part. He asked if she wanted to go to a movie. I'll ask, Lily said, smiling, covered her mouth. Her mom says, okay, what are we going to go see? Lily climbed up, grunting on the chair on the top shelf in the hall closet. I wonder why had she done this sooner. She searched behind her back towels, pushed back the tub of money. I've been saving a little bit each month. Oh, here we go. Okay. I've been saving a little each month. They drove to Macy's to buy a skirt and a dress. Okay, very good. So I've been saving a little each month, so I would use this as a quote, and what I will do instead of adding all of that as a big quote, God, you know, after adding all that as a big old quote, I am going to actually suggest. I'm gonna keep it that. Yeah, I'll keep it that same. I'm gonna highlight this quote, and I'm gonna add a note. Actually, I'm gonna add a note. I'm gonna say, "Mother goes and buys her quote." Buy her, excuse me, I got a lot on my mind. Buys her clothes to go shows Yoli that her mother truly cares for her. Okay. All right, so we have that. And then I will take this quote and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to add this here for my second quote. It's funny how this was highlighted, but the other one wasn't. Oh, well, I guess you can't have it all. And this is our last quote. It looks a little funky. I'll format it later, but you get the gist of what we're doing, right? Compare and contrast the themes of text one and text two. Elaborate on the similarities and the differences in 4 to 5 sentences. Include your thoughts and supporting evidence of both texts. I would say, in comparison, both texts shows two teenagers who lack appreciation for the gestures of their parents. for the kind gestures of their parents. Both parents saw their needs and did what they could do to make them happy. Okay. Now, so those are my two sentences. You have 4 to 5, right? For example, Yoli's mother eyeing her dress and Gary's mother buying him a coat. The difference between the two is that initially, Yoli was grateful until the rain came, right? My evidence doesn't have to be exact quotes, but it can be evidence from the story. So I'm referring back to the text, right? Although Yoli's story ended with getting new clothes, comma, Gary still had to wear the green coat. Gary's coat towards the end of the story shows that he eventually adjusted to adjusted, period. Right? So that's our answer to number 3. And I think that's a total of how many sentences? Maybe that's about 5, 6 sentences. All right. Number 4, what did you notice the author's craft? And so when I say the author's craft, the author's craft is the author's purpose, right? So what I will say is, what did you notice about the author's craft in text 1, right? And how is it different in text 2, right? So I would say the author's purpose in text 1 demonstrates the desire to be appreciated by others. That's spelling, excuse me. The desire to be appreciated by others. Gary's jacket was a symbol of his coolness, right? And being accepted by others, right? On the other hand, I'm using my transitional phrases. In our second text, mother and daughter, the author wanted the reader to pay attention to similar tasks or similar ideas of being accepted, but mainly focusing on the relationship between mother and daughter, right? And then I'll add pieces of text. For example, at the dinner table, we could say Yoli and Mrs. Moreno or Miss Moreno bonded over tortillas, chili verde, and had a conversation, right? Whereas Gary barely spoke to his family, right? I want to add another piece, but I don't know what the next question is going to ask me. Okay, and then so whereas Gary barely spoke to his family, which also this also signifies the different ending due to Jolie's relationship with her mother. He is able to see that her mother cares about her and she gets a new phone. You don't have to add all that. That's just a extra a tad bit. And of course, obviously, 4 to 5 sentences, which gets close to our requirement for a paragraph. Now, which text which text resonated with you? Describe the parts of the text connected with personally analyze how you might apply that what you read to the text of your own life. One of the pieces that really resonated with me. I want to say one of the pieces. Mother and daughter relate to me because when I was in 8th grade, and then I write all about what happened in 8th grade, which I think I told you guys about. My mom bought me. I wanted to go to the 8th grade dinner dance, and my mom didn't have me a tuxedo, and I knew all the other guys in class were gonna wear tuxedos, and I didn't have the opportunity to wear one, and I felt bad. And um, she was just pretty much like she pretty much was like, hey, it is what it is. I want you to take one of your old suits and and you're gonna wear that, and I'll take it to the cleaners. I will hem your pants, and it was so embarrassing. But I look back on it now, and I am appreciative of it. My mom didn't have much, so I took one of my old suits. She bought me a shirt and tie. I had to put the pieces together and make it look like it was brand spanking new. All right. So I meant to show you this slide before I showed you how to do it, but this is pretty much me saying, like, take a look at how I do it, watch how I figured it out. And this is what I want you guys to pretty much do for your assignment for today. Okay. Mine looks really ugly, right? Mine looks really ugly. How do I make it look nice? I'll beautify it later. All right, but this is how it should look. And I might leave this for you guys inside of the document at Google Classroom as an example. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. I love y'all. Y'all have a great Monday.